Google, not just a great search engine, but the undisputed ruler of the digital world. With a staggering 90% grip on the global search engine market, Google sits firmly at the top. But here's the real question. Why has even the rapidly advancing field of AI failed to dethrone it? Every day, billions of search queries are processed by Google. It's the most visited website in the world. Is that just a coincidence? Absolutely not. Google's search algorithm is so advanced that no competitor has been able to catch up. It can index billions of web pages in a flash and deliver highly relevant results to users worldwide. And the most astonishing part? This process runs non-stop, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yet behind all this power, a darker side is being exposed. A court in the United States has made a bold move, ruling that Google is guilty of monopolizing the market. So, in this video, we're going to uncover the truth behind Google's dominance. Keep watching! The story of Google began in 1995 at Stanford University in the United States. Two students, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, met and began working together on a research project. That project was called Backrub, which analyzed how links between websites could determine the relevance of a web page in search results. Not long after, they renamed it to Google. A few years later, their project gained attention, not just among researchers and students, but also from Silicon Valley investors. In August 1998, Andy Bechtolsheim, one of the co-founders of Sun Microsystems, wrote a check for $100,000 to Larry and Sergey, marking the beginning of Google Inc. With that investment, they hired staff and rented a garage in Menlo Park, California as their first office. In a short span, Google grew rapidly. They hired more engineers and technical staff, built a sales team, and even introduced the company's official dog named Yoshka. Not long after, they moved into a much larger headquarters, now famously known as the Googleplex, in Mountain View, California. Today, Google owns a wide range of products used by billions of people globally, including Google Chrome, YouTube, the Android operating system, Gmail, Google Maps, Google Photos, the Gemini AI chatbot, and many more. Back in 1998, Google received only around 10,000 search queries per day. Now, that number has exploded to around 13.6 billion searches daily, over 5 trillion searches per year. Currently, Google controls about 90% of the global search engine market. Out of 5.5 billion internet users worldwide, around 4.9 billion use Google. This highlights the immense reliance users have on Google to find information online. People place complete trust in Google to provide the best results, even though only a few dozen links are shown from trillions of pages that exist. But this raises a critical question. Is Google truly showing the most relevant and highest quality results? Or is it quietly monopolizing the internet? The US Department of Justice, DOJ, argues that Google's success isn't just due to quality, but rather due to the unlawful use of monopoly power. This behavior is seen as a violation of antitrust laws, designed to prevent unfair market dominance and ensure healthy competition. This isn't the first time Google has faced legal action over antitrust issues. It has been investigated and penalized in several countries, including across Europe. In fact, this year, China also announced an investigation into Google over similar concerns. The US antitrust case began in 2020 when the DOJ, along with 17 states, filed a lawsuit against Google. They allege that Google illegally dominated the ad tech market, including deciding which ads appear on websites and where they're placed. For context, advertising is Google's primary revenue stream. In 2024, its ad revenue alone reached $264 billion. In August 2024, a US federal judge ruled that Google had unlawfully dominated the search engine market. The court found that Google consistently took steps to prevent fair competition. One of the tactics was signing exclusive contracts with major companies like Apple and Samsung to ensure Google remained the default search engine on all their devices. This allowed Google to maintain its market dominance and charge high advertising rates to companies that wanted visibility in search results. Despite these accusations, Google defended its position, saying it is the most trusted and high-quality search engine used by hundreds of millions daily. However, many users are now realizing that their online activity is being tracked. That's because Google Analytics collects detailed user data to serve highly targeted and personalized ads. Then, on April 17, 2025, a U.S. court issued a landmark ruling, finding that Google had violated antitrust laws in the digital advertising market. The court stated that Google deliberately acquired and maintained monopoly power in online advertising, clearly breaching fair competition laws. In court, the judge explained how Google used classic monopoly tactics, such as acquiring competitors, locking in users, and controlling the entire ad transaction process. All of these actions were aimed at strengthening and maintaining Google's dominant position in digital advertising. This ruling is expected to have a significant impact on Google's business model, particularly in how it runs its ad operations and handles user data. Outside of the US, Google has also been fined a total of $13.6 billion by the European Union across 3 separate antitrust cases. These fines were due to Google's overwhelming market dominance that made it nearly impossible for other service providers to compete fairly. This dominance allowed Google to charge high service and advertising fees, simply because it had no true rivals. The latest US ruling, combined with earlier actions by the EU, may be the first steps toward reopening the global tech market. This could pave the way for more competitors to emerge and promote fairer competition, reducing the dominance of a single tech giant. To further encourage competition, the US DOJ has proposed a major restructuring of Google's business. One of the biggest proposals, forcing Google to sell off one of its most valuable assets, the Chrome web browser, to create a healthier, more competitive tech market. Google responded by expressing willingness to share more information with advertisers using its ad tech platforms, and that's because Chrome is the gateway through which user data flows into Google's ecosystem, especially for powering its search algorithms. Currently, Chrome is used by more than 50% of internet users worldwide. Typically, when someone opens Chrome, they go straight to using Google Search. This is why the court sees separating Chrome from Google as the most effective way to reduce monopoly power and give competitors a chance to grow. Chrome is estimated to be worth around $50 billion. This situation is reminiscent of the high-profile 1998 case, where the Department of Justice sued Microsoft for monopolizing the software market. Back then, breaking up Microsoft was proposed, although the court ultimately rejected the idea. Now, several major companies have shown interest in acquiring Chrome. These include OpenAI, creator of ChatGPT, Perplexity AI, and Yahoo. OpenAI even said that combining Chrome with ChatGPT could offer users a completely new, more interactive browsing experience. If Google loses Chrome, it would be a huge blow, since the browser is a primary channel for the user data that powers its ad and search operations. Still, Google continues to own several key products that remain dominant, like Google Search, YouTube, the Android OS, and other digital services. However, Google may now need to overhaul its business strategy, especially in the advertising sector. This shift could mark the beginning of a new era in web browsing, one where users may have to get used to new platforms, systems, and ways of accessing information online.